Can I just ask you just to very briefly to expand on, you did this user engagement at the outset, which I thought is really lovely, the way that you've described it, and the two groups and so on. How did you, what techniques or strategies did you employ to sustain that throughout?
To keep them engaged.
Yeah, to keep gaining their insights. Was it their key worker that came from, or did you have a sort of research team that was doing that?
We actually had a very small research team of 2 people who actually did that, yes. So, yes, they were supported by their key workers or their social workers, but actually we had a team of 2 who were doing the telephone interviews and the groups, etc.
Okay, thank you. That's interesting. And Colin Maggin has asked, one thing seems clear about the group of young people you work with, they've all experienced trauma. Do you look at how trauma-informed practice would help?
I think absolutely. The person asking the question is absolutely right. These were young people who had been through extremely traumatic experiences, and you do have to have that at the forefront of your mind, and to ensure that they are supported throughout the intervention. I think you also have to bear in mind the theory behind trauma and understand how that can impact their thinking, their views, etc. And I think that's why it was incredibly important to have 2 cohorts of people to consult with, people who'd had time to reflect, and people who were experiencing at the same time, and both were equally powerful.
Thank you. If anyone would like to ask a question directly, unmute yourself on *6 and ask the question. One at a time.
David, it's Joe here again. I've got another question.
I thought you'd like this one, Joe. Thanks.
I certainly do, and it's again lovely to hear the process that you've applied. A lot I could learn from that process. Absolutely, it's the creative engagement that you had with young people. Funnily enough, I used to work before being a service designer. I used to work in a very traditional place, similar to that you're describing in social work, with young people whose placements have collapsed. So it's an issue dear to my heart. One thing I was going to ask was some of this kind of creative engagement that you had with the young people and the way in which you tried to elicit insights. Considering this is an issue that's often impacted by the relationships between sometimes disparate professionals or disparate agencies, in this process moving forward to get towards some of the kind of integration that you're looking to have around the young person, have you thought about applying some of those creative processes of engagement to professionals rather than just to the kind of end users themselves, in order to better understand how you might bring them together?
Absolutely. I think, we all learn in different ways. We're all more comfortable with different ways of contributing, but I do think, and I'm very passionate about interactive and creative ways, because I think you can unlock things that perhaps are not quite so logical in our heads, and would love to use these kind of techniques with professionals to get them to think about one, how they work with service users, but more importantly, how sometimes their work affects their views on what we do. So yes.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thanks, Joe, and thanks, Kat. That was a really thoughtful and sensitive presentation, actually. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you.